Today we will be discussing about the Global Security Outlook 2023 and navigating the evolving threat and information security landscape, especially in this period when the technology is fastly evolving. So, under the threat landscape, we will discuss about the rise of the cybercrime, which is becoming more prevalent and malicious. The attacks are getting more, we call APT, Advanced Persistent Threats. So they're becoming more persistent and more persistent as technology evolve. And we will also move into information security landscape, where we will talk about the key information security threats, trends, and the threats to information security. But before we proceed, let's see what is actually happening in the cyberspace. So this is a live threat map that you are seeing. These are the current attacks that are happening from countries to countries, who's throwing what to where, okay? And there is another one here. This is from Kaspersky. And the same, they are providing products and services, of course, to scan and to watch what are the threats and where are they coming from and where they are being thrown. You can see here on this portal website as well, you can see statistics of who is the most attacked country. As this is evolving, maybe I can ask from the attendees, what do you think is the most targeted country? So Russia is the number one, most attacked. Okay, but let's see kung pang ilan ang Philippines. Number 17. Oh, dapat nandun tayo sa mga bandang huli. Okay? Attack lang naman. Na-attack. But we don't know how much is the impact, no? So that is one website, and here is the other. It's a threat landscape. So these are the type of, so this is an exploit, the yellow ones, these are exploit, purple are phishing attacks, and the red but or orange are malware. So there are also the types of attacks explanation here on the left side. So good reference sites for you. Again, the presentation is shared, the link as well, or if you can take this or copy this website, it's also okay at this time. And then this one, I want to share as well. Information is beautiful. You will see the world's biggest data breaches and hacks in here, although this one is updated at the latest September 2022. It covers other previous years as well, but it would be very interesting for you to know that most of the big technology companies have also suffered attacks. Just look at the Facebook in here. If you mouse over, you will it will tell you what were the compromised information that happened, that they had, SolarWinds. So you have here the Facebook, you have Marriott, Twitter is there, Equifax, the very known Equifax, Yahoo is there, and you see how big the bubbles are for the very well-known tech companies, no? So we may say that, okay, kung silang ang malalaking companies nahahack, di paano pa tayo? But the point there is, there are specific reasons why those big companies are, okay, but there is specific reason why those companies are being attacked, no? We call it targeted attack. When you say targeted attack, I really did something or packaged something because I want to harm that organization or steal some information from that organization, whether it is an IP, it is a research or whatever. Okay, and information security or the cybersecurity defenders, their concern is basically to cover the CIA, which is the confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Confidentiality, this is why there are a lot of encryption mechanism. There are also attacks like the ransomware, wherein they encrypt the information and you have to pay before the offenders release your information. So this is harming the information or the confidentiality of your customers or your own information. The integrity is when an organization or we make sure that the information that is being accessed by any of your customers from your website or from you as well are the accurate one and the correct ones, because as there are defenders who can tamper the information and make it tinatawag tayong mga fake news, okay? So may mga nangyayari na rin na fake information na override ang mga information. And the availability is when a service is accessed by the customers, it should always be available. Dito naman yung DDoS or the distributed denial of service happens. So just have a thought about when Amazon, no, yung Amazon website or Lazada, let's just say in the Philippines, i-take down natin yan ng 1 minute, and you would know how much peso, how much will they lose for a 1 minute na down ang system nila, no? So this is what we mean by the CIA, protecting the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the systems. Okay, now going back to global security, why is it important? You know, it is essential for countries to work together to combat various threats. You have seen in the threat map that I showed that the attacks are coming from one country to another. Okay, so we don't know what is the objective. Is it just about stealing information para maibenta nila sa dark web, or is it about harming the country, the nation as a whole? So those 3 websites that I shared, I already have tackled the first topic, which is the rise of cybercrime. You have seen how many attacks are happening every second, every minute, no? They are being thrown from one country to another. We don't know how critical are the infrastructure that are being targeted by those attacks. The hack of Ukrainian power utilities in 2015, there's an example of that. It's also in the PowerPoint presentation that I shared. You can watch that in YouTube, and you will see there. I just cannot share it here because for some reasons the volume doesn't work. Now, I was testing it last night. In that video, you will see that there are engineers, engineers watching 2 monitors, and they are seeing that their mouse is moving, and they're just watching. There's a conversation as well there. It's in Ukrainian, but it's translated in English already. It says, no, okay, now it's moving to the next panel, and now it's gonna take down this area. Now it's ready to take down the next area. And the other guy said, let's call the IT. And the other guy also mentioned, no, maybe it's the IT doing it. So the awareness of when you are being attacked is very important. Not only awareness for end users, but also awareness for the people who are operating critical infrastructures. Okay, so that is a very interesting one. Enjoy it. I will not share it this time. It's a short one as well. It's only 1 minute. Okay, geopolitical tensions. I wanted to share this because I'd like to share with you how the cyber attack is being used not only for individuals, but in a nation state, as a nation state weapon. Okay, sometimes I say na sana kahit puro cyber attack na lang instead of the actual war where people are dying, no, and suffering, like what is happening right now in the Russia and Ukraine. So here are some of the examples I have here: Israel and Palestine, China and Taiwan, North Korea, US, India, Pakistan, Russia, and Ukraine. So for the 4, except North Korea and the US, no, for the other 4, this is more on dispute of owning who owns what or taking over a specific part of the country. So for Israel and Palestine, this is about the Jerusalem, no? Who's gonna manage the Jerusalem? In 2021, there was and I'm just sharing the most recent ones, okay? There are other cyber attacks, but before 2020, except for North Korea, I will mention why. I'm just mentioning the recent ones. So in 2021, there was attack on the website of Israel's national airline, and it was a defacement attack. When you say defacement, when you access Israel's national airline website, you will see a pro-Palestine messages, okay? China and Taiwan. In 2020, the Red Delta, Chinese state-sponsored hacking group, launched a cyber attack on several Taiwanese government agencies, including Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Election Commission, I think, okay? But the purpose is to steal information of the diplomats and the government officers. I'll jump to India first, the same thing. In 2018, the Indian cyber troops, they call themselves, they attacked the Pakistani government website. And then in 2019, gantihan lang yan, ano? Team Hindustan attacked Indian government website. These are both defacement. So talking about like dirty talks now, when you access the website, it's about, hindi ko masabi, what is the term? Basta yun na yun. Nagmumurahan na sila. Okay, now North Korea and the US. I said I will mention only the recent one, but this is a very good example for North Korea and US. In 2014, the hack of a Sony Pictures Entertainment, I think you've heard that, although it's a long time ago. Sony Pictures is in the US, yeah? So there was an attack, and it was like an investigation whether it is North Korea or what. But the reason why it was naituro sa North Korea is because of a certain movie that Sony Pictures released, which is about the death or assassination of the leader of North Korea, which is Kim Jong-un. So what they did, they destroyed some of the information which were they able to hack, and to some of the information, they released it in public. So what was the area that was attacked here? One is the confidentiality, and of course, it damaged heavily the integrity of Sony Pictures itself. And in 2017, again, I was asking earlier kung ano yung level of the attendees. Dr. Maria said may mga entry or starting. So siguro bata pa kayo nung time na yun, 2014. But in 2017, I think you also have heard the WannaCry ransomware attack, which impacted more than 100 of countries. And it was also attributed to North Korea. Bakit ransomware ang ginamit? Because they're saying that North Korea was trying to put up a fund or money to fund their development of the nuclear weapons, no? And why is there conflict between North Korea and the US? US is asking North Korea to stop the development of their nuclear weapons, and North Korea wouldn't want to do that unless the US lift the economic sanctions. So hintayan lang sila, but somehow there are peace talks happening to reduce those tensions. And you may also remember how former President Donald Trump called them baby rocket, no? Mamaya maasar yan, paliparin niya mga nuclear weapons yan. Okay? And of course, the last one, I didn't put an information here, but you are aware that until now, thank you for that smiling face. Okay? Trying to keep myself awake. Okay? Russia and Ukraine, you know that the war is going into its first year, and during the first year of the attack of Russia to Ukraine, the group Anonymous launched some cyber attacks to a number of government websites of Russia. Again, it is a defacement attack or DDoS. the anonymous group is nag-advocate sila for giving justice for those na mga naaapi. Okay? Most of their attacks, again, are DDoS, distributed denial of service, or defacement. Okay? Now, next is, those nation-state attacks can cripple a country. When we say CIS, critical infrastructure systems, these are the ones that actually run a country to make it operate. If other nation-state attacks, like the nuclear, the power plant in Ukraine, that took about almost 100 or more than 1 million of citizens na walang ilaw, no power. So what if pagsabay-sabayin ang attack on those CIS, critical infrastructures? Okay, take down your power, take down your telecommunications. Telecommunications pa lang, patay na ang country if that happens. Okay, how about transportation? Nasa metro kayo, biglang mag-shutdown lahat. Okay, water, electricity, how about the other transportation, the port, airport, or the seaport, no? So this is the latest digital defense report from Microsoft. It contains information from 2021 to 2022 only. So you will see here what are the sectors that are targeted by nation-state actors. Again, when you say nation-state actors, they have specific purpose. It is targeted. Yun mismo yung purpose nila, isang country or isang company, and they have a specific purpose for that. If you experience, for example, a credit card, let's say you say na attack or na compromise ang credit card ko, it is not you individually. It is your bank's credit card provider. Okay, so hindi ikaw mismo yan. What it means is the company or the bank who issued you that particular credit card is the one who's compromised or attacked. And unfortunately, you are part of that. And unfortunately, the bank or the institution who issued you that did not have enough, or maybe they did, but there were just persistent threats that make them, the offenders manage to infiltrate the system itself. Okay, so next. Here, information security on the left and threat landscape on the right. And on the information security landscape, I'm just giving some of the examples. Because on the next slide, magugulat kayo kung gaano karami to, na? So on the information security landscape, it's about protecting the people, protecting the data, and protecting the information infrastructure. An attack or a compromise in any of this, again, is an attack in any of the three, the CIA, the confidentiality of the information, the integrity of the company, or the availability of the system or the website or anything that will make your either your own employees or your customers reach you. So for the people, we have, again, these are just few, okay, because we cannot put everything on the screen, but again, there's a huge list. You can have a look at them in very detail. For people, we use multi-factor authentication, and it is very important to apply this because, you know, specifically, for example, IoTs. If you think you have a very good lighting system, no, IoT enabled, it's like, palakpakan ganyan, bubukas ang ilaw, that tatlo, mas liliwanag. Okay, ang galing, ano. Pero, kunwari, it got busted na, the lights, when they get busted, and then you just throw them in the garbage bins. There's what we call dumpster diving. It's also a type of a social engineering attack, no? I can look into that. Basagin ninyo yan, may makikita kayong chip doon. And that itself, I think engineers, you are all engineers here, you know how the chips, these small ones, work, you can enable that again, and you can find information that are kept in there. It can be the password, it can be anything like a link to another IoT, and you can compromise the other IoT devices where that specific or single one is, that information, that single chip that you will see can make you compromise other IoTs that are linked in there. So that is the purpose for multi-factor authentication. It means hindi enough ang password. Before you even get to enter your application, your mobile app, there is a second authentication. Maybe i-message ka sa Gmail mo or sa email mo, or you will receive another OTP via call, okay, through a call that will get into your phone, and then you will say, yes, I'm authenticating this access. There should be a security awareness training, very important. And as the technology evolves, even the security awareness training should also be elevated in terms of yung level of maturity of the, let's say, the individuals and the employees. What do we mean? I want to point out specifically on the security awareness training. A lot of awareness have been made for phishing emails. How do we spot phishing emails? It says hi, walang pangalan, just hi, and then there's a message that makes you feel there's a sense of urgency to reply to that. But also there is an obvious format. Mali-mali ang grammar, mali-mali ang spelling. Minsan they say hi sir, but you are a ma'am, or vice versa. And then there's a link that is asked of you to click, okay? So ngayon, with the evolving technologies, you are aware maybe of the ChatGPT. With ChatGPT, you can develop a properly written email na hindi mahahalata. Wala na yung mga palpakang English, palpakang spelling, etc. Okay? So even security awareness training now should also elevate. I will not go into the details, but at least for the engineers who are working in IT or will be going in there, specifically infrastructure section of an IT department, maraming engineers dyan. So you should know how to address these areas. There should be a regular patching or firmware patching, device management, endpoint management, vulnerability penetration testing. This is where you get some ethical hackers who will do the penetration testing. And when you say pen testing, this is like, by the way, we call it ethical hackers, is because you know that they are hacking your system. You hire them to come to your company to do a vulnerability and pen testing. When you say vulnerability, they are looking at what are the open doors in your in any part of your system, either sa firewall or sa mga application, or the application of policies in the access management, etc. Yun yung mga vulnerabilities na tinatawag. Pen testing is trying to attack your system through those vulnerabilities. Even people, we do testing of the awareness of the people, like magpapanggap kunwari ako, like social engineering. I will call somebody within the company and say, oh, it's already payroll, but I think your salary is not being processed. Can you just tell me your account number again and your password here, so I will do a manual transfer. So it's like pretending that I am part of the company, and ito namang employee, because you use the term, your salary is not getting in, immediately to take action. So hindi na yun in a form of email, but in a form of a phone call. It could be I'm inside the company using an extension to call your extension number, or it could be something like pretending to be someone using a phone as well, okay? So network segmentation, DDoS prevention. Again, the DDoS is distributed denial of service. It's a series of packets being thrown simultaneously in a website until mag-take down siya. Hindi na niya makaya yung mga packets na dumadating. So on the right side of the ring, these are the threats naman that are commonly, these are the top 15 that are attacking the companies. So you have malware, very common, web-based attack, identity theft, web application attacks, etc. Okay, I will not go into the details of the attack, but by the way, number 9, I want to say insider threat. Very important for those who are working, engineers who may be in the HR, okay, and especially in IT, if you are in IT. If there is someone who will be terminated, make sure that you disable their accounts before they are informed of the termination, okay? Or even more important, if there are some employees who have already been given disciplinary actions, 1 and 2 before termination, watch their access, or if possible, restrict their access kung very critical yung offense, or critical to the security ng company, yung offense ng tao. Let's say if the person is coming from finance, to me, must watch na yung kumbaga nasa alert zone na ang watch, no, ang pag-watch doon sa tao na yan, okay? Because insider threats are also, as you can see, pang 9 ang insider threat, therefore watch your own resources, okay? Now this is the the information security landscape, or that I am saying. I'm gonna look at the right side, my other screen, because this is, I cannot read by myself. Okay, in any of this, it's just talking about the areas and what are the products or solutions that are available in there. Here you're talking about network and infrastructure security, web security, endpoint security. Let's see down here. Security, I cannot read. Okay. Access management is here. Threat intelligence is here. Okay. Again, I'm not selling any of these products. There's a huge list of these products, and they can, all of them have the benefits and the pros and the cons. All of them, of course, give benefit to you. But for organizations, my advice is when you look at solution, make sure that you at least evaluate 3 of these products. At the same time, if you can request for POC, a proof of concept, it is, recommended approach. When you say proof of concept, they will install their device or their system. It will be enabled in your company. It will be enabled in a specific, and don't enable in all of your systems, but enable only on specific applications, para hindi naman nila kuha lahat yung information ng company nyo, or ma-connect sila in all of your systems and applications, no? At least to test their product. And from there, you will be able to evaluate them on the actual and the technical part of it. Hindi lang yung tipong you have their brochures, this is what they're doing, and you score them accordingly. When you evaluate a product, especially information security products, make sure that you see it and hands-on on it. The vendors will allow that, okay? For those who are involved in evaluation of products, please make sure of that. Okay, now the trends. What's coming, or what's already in there, and what are the threats? Cloud security. As more organizations move their data and applications to the cloud, there is also an increased focus in securing these cloud environments from potential threats. It's like transferring the security to a provider. And if I do not have enough resources, let's say individuals, to secure my data, then I will put it in the cloud. And the cloud, they have their own security protocols, they have the security policies, they have the resources. So this is the trend now, moving to cloud, the data to the cloud, but there's an increasing challenge and what do you call this, mas malaki ang responsibility nila because they are holding your data into their own cloud. But of course, you also buy the security, huh? There are portions there that when you put something in the cloud, there you pay for the security part of it. Okay. AI and machine learning. I started using a machine learning tool since 2012, and by that it means anything that is being read in your environment is stored in that device, and they are learning how the people are working, what are the systems that they are using. So anything that deviates to that something that is normal, it triggers them. For example, I am not in the finance department, and this is the common, parang nagkikip siya ng diary ko, okay, daily. And then all of a sudden, Irene Corpus is accessing the finance department on a Saturday, on a 2 a.m., and while I am, let's say, in Russia. So that is something that is not common to this Irene Corpus account, therefore it will trigger an alert. So ito yung machine learning. But with AI, mas advanced na AI because it is, some part of it is becoming autonomous already. And AI is also used now in information security to analyze large volumes of data and identify potential security threats. So it is evolving, it is there, but becoming more and more, let's say, intelligent pa. Okay? IoT, or Internet of Things, the security part here, I have made an example earlier about not just being happy that you have all of your devices in a single app in your mobile. You're able to control your lights, your fridge, your AC, or your, let's say, vacuum cleaner. But please be careful when you dispose of this. Make sure that you also destroy the chips that are within, okay? Be careful of the dumpster diving. Zero trust. I don't know if any one of you, or maybe you have heard about the zero trust. This is the concept of assuming that all network traffic, both internal and external, are potentially hostile, and there must be authenticated and authorized before access is granted. In Tagalog, pagdudahan mo muna sila bago mo sila pagtiwalaan. Walang papasok, okay? GDPR, this is data privacy and compliance. So as everything is evolving, there are also regulations that are getting emphasized, getting stronger governance when it comes to this. The GDPR is General Data Protection Regulation. This is in EU, and this law is very strict that it can penalize company for about 10 million euros or 2% of their annual GDP, and whichever is higher. If you remember, there is the 5 billion Facebook payment made to the US federal government because of the mishandling of the Facebook data in 2016, okay? This is when they got linked to the Cambridge Analytica, this is the scandal, okay? They claim to have influenced the 2016 presidential election. So it was told that at that time, Facebook allowed the Cambridge Analytica to make use of yours information from Facebook, and okay, we are saying that our information are secured, but look at what happened here in Facebook. We are trusting that they are protecting our information, our data in there, but just to realize that it was mishandled and misused to this level. But in all of that, there is also a cyber insurance. When we say a cyber insurance, when you get compromised or when you get attacked, if you have a cyber insurance as a company, you will be able to claim for something. It's just like any other insurance that you have, no? As the cost of cyber attack continues to rise, more organizations are turning to cyber insurance to mitigate their financial losses in the event of a breach. Now, it is not that easy. We can say that, okay, my insurance naman, it's okay if I get the attack or there is a breach because I can claim. No, this cyber insurance also look into the very details of the incident. When we say look at the very details of the incident, even if you have a cyber insurance, you also have still the responsibility to implement the security in your own organization. If there is a data theft and the insurance found out that you don't have at least an encryption or you don't have the necessary tools to make sure that there are related access before those information are accessed, then you might not get your insurance payment. Okay, it means alagaan mo yung sarili mo bago ka makakuha ng benefits of the insurance. Okay? Another thing is, okay, I'm sure you are all aware of the chat GPT. Okay? There are a lot of benefits of the chat GPT, but in the academic industry or the academic sector, and one of the things that they are complaining about is that how would you know now if a thesis or a dissertation is done, if a research is done by the student or by the chat GPT? There are ways, of course. The universities, before they can run a thesis or a dissertation in a tool which will say that this is plagiarized. There is a certain percentage that will show percentage of plagiarism. The same thing for here, even those tools will have to upgrade themselves as well to determine whether the submission is done through a chat, a GPT or not. The sad thing about this is that it is being used. Of course, you cannot tell people how to use it. The only thing that you know is that people will use it in their own benefit, in their own ways. So by the way, it's been used already. As you can see here, I'm giving an example. This is just this week. Fake Chat GPT Chrome browser extension was caught hijacking Facebook accounts. I put here the link. Please feel free to read the whole article. But it's just like thinking that it is a part of a chat GPT, but in fact, it's not anymore. I also have included in this presentation a link to one of the panel discussions that I attended, and I talked more about the chat GPT and what my concern is as a cybersecurity professional. My concern is on the governance part of it. If the EU implemented the GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation, what I'm hoping is that as we go into OpenAI, or this artificial intelligence thing, and this chat GPT thing, I'm hoping that there is such a regulation that will come as well. When you say regulation, there should be a point of accountability and transparency. Transparency means we need to know how the algorithms are written. Number one, these are written by the programmers, okay? Anywhere now, we're talking about DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. There should be a mix of developers who are writing the algorithms to avoid a bias. AI has already been used in the US, and what happened? They run specific photos of let's say the database of those who have a record or criminal records, no? They run these photos in an AI application, and what happened? Those who are people with color are tagged as high risk, okay? And the others, okay, are not. So there's already a bias in the way the algorithms are written. This is just one example of it. The second example, again, in the US, they already used AI in coming up with a court decision. So how can you imagine your life being put in the hands of an AI? Okay, they are also not happy with the result, and therefore they stopped using it. Now, when it comes to ChatGPT, the question is, will ChatGPT help me develop a malware so that I can make a very good attack that is not noticed? I can ask ChatGPT to help me write an email, okay, that will not be an obvious phishing email. And then I will just embed in that the code within the context of the letter, no? ChatGPT, if you're going to ask ChatGPT, can you help me develop a malware? For those of you who have tried it, the answer of the ChatGPT will be, it is unethical. I'm not programmed to do this. It will harm for individual or companies. This is how ChatGPT will reply. Okay, it means they have already embedded the algorithms are written in ethical way. But how will ChatGPT knows whether I am tricking them? I am tricking it or not. I'm not teaching you to do this, okay? But at least to let you know that there is always a way to tweak the mind of the ChatGPT. As we say, to defeat the hackers, you should wear the hat of a hacker. And I have already tried it to ChatGPT, and I got what I need by doing it in, let's say, social engineer ko si ChatGPT. Okay, I have one link in this presentation that I will share with you, and that's where I discuss about it. I don't wanna. There's a lot of attendees in here, and I hope I'm not giving a wrong message. Okay, use the AI, because let's just say, gamitin sa kapakinabangan. Okay, there is also always a consequence when you do it the wrong way, especially in terms of the governance as well. We talk about the transparency. We're talking about accountability as well. Will those people or organizations who are developing an AI application, will they be accountable for any of the damages that their AI application will do? Take the example of an Uber self-driving car. If you have heard that, there is one Uber self-driving car who didn't recognize a pedestrian who is crossing. So it was the girl who's pushing her bike was hit by an Uber self-driving car. The driver is sitting on the driver's seat, but was just surprised that it hit the girl. And unfortunately, the girl died. Now, who's accountable for that? Is it the driver who's not driving because it's a self-driving car? Or is it the car itself, its application? Or it is the organization or the company who developed the self-driving car? So this is in terms of the governance that I am actually hoping to have in the future, because great power comes with great responsibility. If you just let these applications hanging out there, freely usable to any individual, they can use this in a wrong way. Okay? So therefore, just a message from me to you, or maybe we can share that thought. Mas marami tayong makukuha sa kabutihan. Okay? And we are here to spread the knowledge, the good knowledge. And only the reason why I'm sharing those bad effects is because to share with you as well what happened to those people who are affected by this, by the bias, by the discrimination, by possible deaths. Okay. Another thing, maybe a few last words before I go or summarize my presentation. In China, they don't have the Google, Facebook, or Instagram, or the other social media, but they have their own, right? In Russia, they also block the other social media, for example, and also the WhatsApp, for example, because WhatsApp is encrypted, and they did not allow Russia to have, Russia requested to allow them see the messages, not encrypted. And WhatsApp did not allow that. So WhatsApp is not allowed at all in Russia. So look at what control can a country do to specific applications. Think now how much more or what more they can do if such applications such as the AI or the ChatGPT can do if this gets into the hands of other countries who can manipulate this in their own way, use it in their own way, use it in either, ayoko na magsagot, okay? Just think about the good and the worst part of having it in the hands of the people, okay? I'm seeing a smiling face. Nakakatakot, no? Baka. Okay. In summary, threat and information landscape, okay, both technology and attacks are constantly evolving. It's just like a case of Tom and Jerry or cat and mouse, okay? Gaganda si technology, hahanapin ni attacker how it can be attacked or how it can be used to attack. Parang ginigisa ka sarili mong mantika. It's like finding a solution, but in the end, it's giving more problem than the solution that you intend to resolve. Number two, rapid technology and development increases the amount of data generated. Again, just giving the example of the most recent one, which is the ChatGPT. Just think about how huge is the amount of information that is fed at the back of this ChatGPT, such that when you ask something, it is able to assist you or respond to you. It also increases the potential for cyber attacks and data breaches. Again, the potential is because the solutions may not be on the level of the new technology, or it could be that there are no resources yet to manage those evolving security measures as well. There are new types of cyber attacks which are being developed at the same time. There is also cybercrime as a service. Hindi ko na kailangang maghirap. Pupunta na lang ako doon sa palengke, marami na yan, cybercrime as a service. Okay, it's like, anong gusto mo? Denial of service or data theft, information theft, etc. Okay? Updated protection and bias practices are essential. One of the things that we also talk about very now, okay, is about upskilling and reskilling the resources. Here in the UAE, and I work in a higher education sector, okay? We are looking, there are already, or as a UAE as a whole, okay? The UAE as a whole, it's about upskilling and reskilling the individuals, the students, such that when they graduate, it is not more about the technical or the technical, what do you call this, in the course learning outcomes, masyadong technical that when they go on the real world, it's not the experience, it is not what they are expecting. So in the education sector, it is more on preparing the students in the real world experience. Yeah, they are embedding certifications already in the curriculum. And you know how it is to most of you who hold certifications, let us just say PMP, for example, or CISSP, or Microsoft Network, ITIL. Matindi ang training ninyo dyan, ang review before you pass the exam. So these are, what are in the exams mostly are the real world scenarios. In the CEH, or the Certified Ethical Hacking certification, you will go into a live exam, which is a laboratory based, and you will do some hacking in there. So This is, again, CAH, certified ethical hacking, okay? This is teaching how to do it, how to do pen testing in a proper way. So in overall, what I would like to say to you as a message as I finish this is, as the technology evolve and as the threats evolve, allow yourself to evolve as well, upscale and reskill, and make sure that you have all, not all, but at least the essential knowledge of how to handle your work in a secure and a safe way. For that, I'd like to thank you all, and please watch these YouTube videos where I talk about AI and the transforming work in humanity. As I was introduced, I am also the founder of one of the founders of Women in Cybersecurity Middle East. Therefore, I also would like to invite you to check on how to reduce the gender gap in cybersecurity, which is very important to us. 10 years ago, there were only 12% women in cybersecurity. 10 years after, which is now, we have increased to 25%. So I believe the global effort of women in cyber and these organizations are working. We're creating awareness about diversity, equity, and inclusion in every organization. And for our women engineers in here, you're welcome to the Women in Cyber. And also another discussion of future skills, sustaining women in cybersecurity. I just had this discussion 3 weeks ago because of the recent layoffs in tech industry. Microsoft laid off how many? 10,000 employees. Twitter as well, Facebook as well. But most of the vulnerable resources are the women. So how are we sustaining the women in the industry? Not only in cybersecurity, but in STEM as well. So a message to our women engineers here, hang on. And for our male allies, please help us be there. It's not only about your colleagues. It's about maybe your wife or your daughters, okay? So thank you very much. Again, my name is Irene Corpus, and please let us connect on the LinkedIn. This is my LinkedIn profile, and when you see this picture, that's me. Thank you.
Let's have a question coming from Clint Hassan, Ms. Irene. Do you believe in the future that AI can create a system of algorithm that will destroy the system network, both hardware and software applications? Can you share your opinion on this?
Okay, thank you for pointing out that about this as my opinion, okay? Future, if AI can create a system and algorithm, it is not the AI. Again, behind the AI are the developers who are writing the algorithms. So, but again, AI, based on the algorithms that you are writing, it's also depending on any data or information that is being fed to them. Take the example, the very good example that I can use is the ChatGPT. There is algorithm and there are information that are being fed to them. Try to interact with the ChatGPT and you will see how it is responding. At certain point, it will reply, it will reply, I don't have that information. Okay, the data that is fed to me is only up to this point. Okay, so you know that it is dependent on what is provided to it and how it is written. It have something that will destroy a system, network, both hardware and software? The answer is yes, because what did I say about the AI falling into the hands of the bad guys? They can do anything that they want. Okay, that's why it is very important for me, as I mentioned, that there are regulations that will cover the development of the AI systems, regulations that will tackle the accountability and transparency. So the transparency is allow yourself to be audited when it comes to the algorithms that you are writing. In this way, we will see how you are instructing your AI to respond. Will it create, can you create or destroy a system on it, through it? It's possible. Again, anything is possible with AI. Even without AI, nangyari na yan eh, those development of the malwares. Just put it in the perspective of malware creation. Iniba lang ang platform, okay?
Hi, Ma'am Irene. For those countries not under the scope of GDPR, what other strict regulating bodies govern data privacy?
I think there is one in the US, CCPA, California Consumer Privacy Act. This is just one of the regulations that I know. There is also HIPAA, PAA. This is on the health industry sectors naman. So HIPAA has been there for the long time, but the HIPAA is more on protecting the medical records and information of the patients. So the HIPAA applies to medical insurance, hospitals as well. But for the others, forgive me, I did not look on this on the Philippine perspective. So I cannot answer if there is a specific regulation. There is, ang alam ko, merong information policy that every entity are asking the let's say the customers to sign up or agree on. For example, I updated my SSS and my Pag-ibig, and they were saying they sent me first like an agreement, privacy agreement, that I will be sharing with them the information, and they are telling me that they will secure it and use it only for the purpose of the as requested. So I shared with them my passport, my birth certificate, all of these things. Yeah, thank you. Data Privacy Act. Ito yun, Privacy Act. So that agreement, privacy agreement that they asked to sign, that is in there. And for the others as well, especially for the banks, I think the same thing there. If the Data Privacy Act is acted as a law in the Philippines, then every organization should apply that. In the banks as well, here there is, and in different countries they have their own privacy acts. But GDPR covers the EU.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Erin. Question from Arnel Grospe. Ano daw po pagkakaiba ng Google Bard versus OpenAI GPT-4?
Ang Google Bard, ang ChatGPT-4, may bagong version na, Google has its own what do you call this? It is Google's own version of ChatGPT. Yung ChatGPT kasi is OpenAI, so it's open for everyone to use. But Google Bard, it is Google's own version. You can find others that will come out. If you will Google, let's say, ChatGPT options, you can see a number of it as well. In fact, here in the UAE, there are startups who have already invited us to access their ChatGPT platform as a test. And the way they deployed it is that they put it in a WhatsApp version. So what they're saying is that kung ChatGPT, yung OpenAI ChatGPT, you can access it on the website lang. Ito naman, inano nila, kumbaga, in-innovate nila ang ChatGPT such that I can use the ChatGPT through the WhatsApp. Okay, but again, my concern there is that when I was invited, click on this to be part of the, let's say, group who will test the application. Of course, when I clicked it, automatically, it has my mobile number already. Yeah, because as a part of the test, they will try to see who are accessing, what are the types of questions that are being accessed, they can go into that level of analysis for the users. So again, Google Bard is just one part of it, and the other is it is not limited only to those two things. Try to look at other ChatGPT. There are now others that are coming out. ChatGPT, OpenAI is just one of it. It started, but everything else will evolve eventually. You have mentioned about the disposals of the chips. Is there already plans from every vendors or suppliers or any institutions how it will be disposed for any IoT device or any potential devices that may cause harm to the people who are reusing it? I don't get it. So if you are an IoT device user and you dispose it, the harm that it can cause after reusing it, no, this is the reason why I was saying it. Awareness is very important. You may not know, you're just a user, that after this is done, you just throw it. That's why this awareness or letting you know that it can still be used for harmful ways. This is, how can I say, ito na yon. It's making awareness for you, because the benefits you know, but the harm you don't know. In fact, maybe I will reshare the slide to you on the email, Richard and Tony. I will add a link to one video. A credit card, okay, a credit card was put in a bottle of acetone for 30 minutes. Natunaw siya totally. Ang natira lang is a wire. I don't have an example here. A wire, napakanipis na wire. Okay, it's an example of showing what is behind those devices. So that wire na natira, ginamit pangbayad sa credit card. You know yung payment, di ba? Yung handheld na payment. So even yung kapiranggot na yon, nakalutang siya, idinikit doon. It was still able to pay the bill. Okay, so it is not about what you see, but what is behind those devices, even the small devices, either the IoT or the credit card. Okay, thank you for asking this, Ray. Again, it is very good information. I will put a link on that video that showed that credit card thing. So even for the credit card, when you dispose it, make sure you cut it. Okay.
What training path or certification do you recommend for beginners to become a good cybersecurity analyst?
Okay, a good cybersecurity analyst. Cybersecurity is a wide field, and thank you for that question. Whoever asked that, we need a lot of cybersecurity professionals. Google at how many security professionals are needed in every organizations. Okay, so as an entry level, begin with the basic networking muna, yung mga CompTIA, yung ganan. And as you progress, also look at Easy Council. I think I posted something on my LinkedIn. Easy Council is offering a free ethical hacking course. Yung beginner lang, pang beginner. At least start with that as well. Be aware of what is coming in as new development. Because dun sa new technology development na yon, dun nag-evolve ang mga security threats. And why is that? It's because, as I mentioned, you're creating a solution, but the problem is higher than the solution. So, kumbaga, choose whether you are the cat or the mouse, kung sino ang hahabulin mo. So, what else? There's a lot of YouTube videos already who are giving instructions or training, free training na tong mga to. So don't use it as an excuse na wala kayong pera to learn how to do all these things. There's a lot of free YouTube videos. There are also websites that offer free access to Hacking Lab. Limited nga lang, okay, pero there's a way. One, limited for 30 days. Eh di pag nag-expire ang account ko, create ako ng new email account, access ulit ako. Okay, so try to figure out, kung gusto may paraan. Yeah, and find mentors. find your, look at those who are leading in this profession. We are trying to, for us, we say that we should be leaders to motivate and inspire and to lead those who are aspiring in this profession.